Remember how it used to be that the eye was the thing that proved that evolution was nonsense? I mean, how do you evolve an eye? Well, you're in luck, because I'm going to tell you. The first eye was nothing more than a dimple in the skin and appeared in the deep blue sea 500 million years ago. See, we can feel the warmth of sunlight, and so with a dimple, you could more accurately sense the shadow of a predator as it passed overhead. And then, as that dimple deepened, it closed and formed a pinhole, creating what they call a camera obscura, capable of revealing shapes and forms, albeit upside down and backwards. And then if a little piece of flesh gets caught in that little hole, the nearby muscles can push and pull on it, creating a lens, focusing the light into specific pictures. Add color perception 25 million years ago, and we now have 100 million light-sensitive nerve endings in each eye to read the incoming imagery. And yet, the eye remains a camera obscura. We see the world upside down and backwards. The brain simply corrects all that in the final act of seeing. And you may remember from grade school that our teachers taught us that each eye has a blind spot. Well, that's true. The brain literally colors in that hole with its very best guess from nearby visual information. And now that I'm telling you this, you might notice that if you look down, you can always see a ghostly image of your nose right in front of your face. It's just that most of the time, for your viewing pleasure, the brain erases the nose from the world in front of you. For some of us, an extraordinary cognitive achievement. But this whole apparatus was built and designed 500 million years ago in the primordial sea. And we still maintain a little bit of that ocean up there for maintenance. It's why we weep saltwater tears. But because we evolved this entire thing at different times, we process light, color, form, movement, all in different places in the brain. It's just that the brain pulls all of that together in the final moment into a kind of show of right now, what they call the gist of a moment, a story. This little motion picture is not intended to be accurate. The brain is not a newspaper reporter trying to get an accurate report on reality. It's an advocate on your side, trying to keep chaos at bay and make sure that you survive until the next day. Now, I'm not saying that the brain is creating an alternate reality, but it is tweaking reality all the time into something slightly more familiar so that we're not constantly living in a state of panic. So take faces. We love to look at faces. They're hardwired in from birth. It's why we so often see Jesus in a piece of toast, because we love faces. As this mask slowly spins, watch how helplessly you are in the clutches of your own brain as it forces the concave image to pop out and look like a regular face. What I love about this particular visual illusion is you can actually spot the precise moment when your brain hijacks control of what you're seeing from your eyes. Watch, it happens right there. See, in nature, we almost never see a concave face. And so, when we do, the brain simply corrects all that for us, just like it does the upside down and backwards view of reality. I probably don't need to tell you that these two tabletops are the exact same size and shape. It's just that the legs are set in such a way as to force you to see something that's not true. And the two wings on that flywheel that look blue and green are actually the same color of green. It's just that when you put that green next to orange and that green next to purple, it forces the eye to see something that's not actually there, like a good magic trick. Brain scientists now believe that our narratives work this way too. If we already know the gist of a moment, then entire plot shifts can occur, and we won't even notice them. If you already know what you're supposed to see, chances are that is what you will see. In England, a brain scientist named, a TV host, named Darren Brown performed this experiment on the streets of London. He would stop and ask somebody for directions, and then in the confusion of this fake painting coming through, switch out with somebody else, in this case, a totally bald guy. How many of us don't ever even notice the switch out? It's 3 out of 4. 75% of us don't notice. And they think what is happening is that when the brain is confronted by a narrative that it can't make any sense out of, it simply rewrites the narrative immediately, creating a false memory that it was always a bald guy. Here is Darren Brown. Hang on, there we go. Here is Darren Brown, a tall Caucasian male. And that is an Asian female. An aimless disorder rages behind our tidy narratives, and we are often comfortably unaware of it. How good is your brain at the cover-up? Well, right now, I'm willing to bet that many of you are thinking, well, these are all very clever parlor tricks and all, Jack, and I'm sure they're true for the many, weak people I see every day in my life. My boss, people from Mexico City. But me? No. I see reality as it actually is. I just know I do. Well, here's news. That's not actually you thinking. That's your brain doing its job, convincing you that everything I've just told you is nonsense, and that everything's just fine, and like a good pimp, baby doll, life doesn't get any better than it is right now. But the truth is, we see a truth that is made up, and made up every time we see it. And that's why these studies show even why overheard cell phone conversations are just so damned annoying. See, half a conversation is too tempting to the brain. We have to know the rest of the story. It's what our brains do. We have to know. Are we looking at a bald guy or an Asian female? In some ways, it doesn't even matter. The brain will tell us, bending the truth closer to what we perceive it ought to be, and then work overtime to make sure that you never suspect that what you see and hear might not actually be what's there. Thank you.